Hello, is test automation a good career for you? If you're considering to just start being test automation expert, test automation engineer, this movie is for you. What are test automation roles? What is the career path in test automation? How to start? What kind of skills do you need to learn about test automation? What is the future of test automation? What are the trends? If you have all of those questions in your mind, please stay tuned and watch this movie until the end. At the end, I have some bonus for you. We will review how much you can get from being test automation engineer depending on the experience. So we will go through the salary where you will see how much you can make money during development of test automation. If you would like to have more content like that, please remember to subscribe this channel, give me likes and hit notification bell. Please put in the comments numbers from 5 to 1. 5 means that this presentation was very useful for you. 1 means that this presentation was useless. If you think that presentation is useless for you, please put in the comments the topics which you would like to discuss in the future. Enjoy this presentation. Test Automation Expert Channel. LearnTestCode.com. Let's start from defining what kind of test automation roles or testing roles do we have and what is career path. And I would like to split that for two parts. One will be how it was before. So usually when you have been starting your career in testing and in test automation, the same like I started, old days, usually you will start from being manual tester. After some time you can be promoted to become test automation engineer, and then you focus more on automation of manual tasks done by manual testing. Later on, you can become a lead of a tester or test automation engineer. You can become also test analyst if you will choose more role related for defining the testing scope. And after a few years, you may become test manager. Test manager is not doing and running test or developing test automation or running manual test. Test manager take more responsibility for the process of testing. At the end, you may become director or head of testing. Okay, let's move to the current situation and to the test automation roles and career path which are existing right now, and I think it might be the future of career in test automation. So I think observing the market right now, test automation needs a lot of more software development skills. Of course, there is a trend for being and using codeless test automation, but I think right now you can start your career at the beginning from just learning about how to develop the code. You can be a software developer, you can be full stack developer, and if you're not happy being on this position, because being software development is hard, is doesn't sometimes it's a little bit bored. It needs a lot of skills, because then you focus on one specific language. So if you just Java developer, then you are doing just development in Java, and it needs a lot of your attention, engagement, and so on. So what I notice, the software developer who don't want to develop the code, or full stack developer who don't want to develop any more application and looking for new space for him, is ideal candidate to become full stack QA or software developer in test, engineer in test, which acronym is SDET. And if you have more experience in development of automation, running automation, at some point you may become test automation lead or test automation architect. And on this position you more focus on building test framework and showing the direction for, you may have also the group of test automation engineers which you will be leading, and after a few years of work you may become senior test automation lead or senior test automation architect, and at the end you may become a QA director or head of test automation. What kind of skills do you need to be good test automation engineer? So first of all, in current days, I will say software development of software is the most demanding skill for test automation engineer or software developer engineering test. Another very trending and demanding skill is to know about the DevOps. DevOps is the way how modern IT companies work, and DevOps means mix between development and operation. And test automation is essential skill to make sure that in DevOps environment continuous integration and continuous deployment can be done, because we need to automate the process of building, running, and testing software. Another very demanding skill to become good test automation engineer is to have experience about the Agile. Agile is lean method of development of software and is all about this methodology is the lean methodology of development software, which has built-in quality into the process. And I know it sounds a little bit surprising that I put quality assurance as the fourth needed skill for software development. And the reason for that is that right now the development skills and DevOps, Agile are much more important than quality assurance skills. Of course, you need to have some quality assurance skills. You can attend some courses. I can recommend you to do at least basic of ESTQB or TeamUp. In fact, those courses doesn't bring too much experience to you, but will show you at least dictionary which is used in quality assurance world. Next very important point is job satisfaction. You need to feel well on your position, because you will spend quite a lot of time in your work. So it's very important, if I will recommend you some career path, is to have good job satisfaction. And why I like and I think that test automation career will give you good job satisfaction. First of all, in test automation, you have a lot of self-development opportunities. There's always something new to be learned, and you are not closing to the specific technology like it is very often for software development. You have a lot of opportunity to learn new things. So if you the person who like to explore, learn new tools, learn new processes, and then I will say test automation bring you a lot of possibilities for that. Another point is there's less stress and it's more interested than software development. So usually if you're just starting your career in IT, probably you have like two options. You can be developer or you can be tester. And test automation engineer is somebody between. Is between being manual tester, and manual testing is pretty boring, and is somewhere between software developer, which is quite difficult because you need to you're responsible for development of the product. So as test automation engineer, I will say you will have much more stress. So if you're considering to become to start your journey in IT as software developer or as a test automation engineer, definitely I think you will have much more job satisfaction as test automation engineer. Okay, let's talk about the trends. Trends are very important because if you're just starting your journey in test automation and you're thinking is test automation good career for you, you have to think a few years up front. What will happen in the future? Will I have a job in next few years? So let's have a look on some test automation trends. And those trends are general for also for software development. So one of the trends is that test automation is enabled for DevOps to build continuous deployment pipelines. Another trend is test automation is essential skill for software development. There is concept which we call test-driven development, and test-driven development is writing unit tests but also integration tests by a software developer. So I think the trend in the future will be that developer will be responsible for also development test automation. And there is big also trend for artificial intelligence and machine learning. And I think in few next year, if you're thinking about artificial intelligence and machine learning, it will allow to initially to better maintain test automation and to even automatically generate the testing script based on artificial intelligence. And I think I heard that maybe in the future development will be done by artificial intelligence and machine learning, and definitely it may happen at some point, but I think the artificial intelligence and machine learning will start automate test automation. So it won't happen initially, and still test automations will be expert will be needed to define the conditions for artificial intelligence, but the easiest thing to be automated is testing, and it can be overtaken by artificial intelligence and machine learning in the future. Let's have a look on some Google Trends based on keywords. So we can have a look that from 2004, DevOps become more and more popular, and test automation is enabled for to deliver DevOps. And I put here as a phrase Selenium, which is the most popular tool for development and running UI test. And we can see that over the time Selenium was becoming more and more popular. And I think in the future artificial intelligence and machine learning may become automation for development of test and for running automated test, and we can see is starting to be trend as well. And like I promised at the beginning, let's talk about the salary. I know that money won't make you happy, but money are needed to make sure that you will have a happy life. And salary is also important part for your motivation, apart from all like self-development, technology aspect. If you will invest your time in a test automation career, the reason for that is that you would like to make money from that at some point. So if you just starting your test automation, based on glossary and LinkedIn data, we can see that you can expect for United States market that you can make $79,000 per year, and this is like this is approximate average money which you can make. And if we have a look, if you have low experience at the beginning, it will be that probably at the very beginning you will start from 61K, and during the time it may come to even 100K. If we have a look on test automation lead salary, so average salary is 84K, and it's starting from 66K, and maximum it might be about 109K. Interesting thing is that test automation architects they have average salary similar to test automation engineer position. So that might be interesting, that maybe you should more focus to become test automation lead, which generally leading the frameworks, leading test automation engineer teams, impacting on developers, making sure that they are practicing the test-driven development. And that might be a tip for you, that rather than become test automation architect, in case of salary, you may consider to move more to test automation lead role. And actually this is how much test manager can make, and that also is interesting, that test manager has lower salary that test automation leads, and even as comparing to test automation engineers. So if you're considering to become test manager or test automation engineer, you can make more money by becoming test automation lead. But if you don't have and you don't feel very strong in software development, becoming test manager is also a good opportunity. But I won't recommend that for test automation engineers. Sometimes some company I'm looking for test managers who has experience in development of test automation and implementation of test automation. And based on my experience, then you can make much more money, but it's not included in this diagram. So I don't have like hard data for that. And at the end, doesn't matter if you are test manager, test automation lead, the highest role for quality assurance person is QA director or head of test automation, and average salary which you can make will be about $129,000 per year, which is pretty good. I will say it's very high comparing to test manager role, which has about $70K. Let's summarize. So, is test automation is a good career? I will definitely say yes, it is. Test automation is great career. And I'm saying that based on my 14 years of experience in test automation. At the beginning, I've been thinking to become maybe software developer. I've been thinking about the management roles, but at the end, what I would say, test automation give you a mix of all those roles. So it's somewhere between software development, it's between manual testing, and it's between managing the people. And becoming test automation lead and test manager with focus on test automation, you may have a mix of those skills. So if I had to make the same decision, I will select the test automation career. And test automation, apart from that, follow the latest you need to follow the latest test automation trends. You need to learn a lot, making sure that you stay updated, which motivate me a lot. So learning continuously is essential part to become good test automation engineer in the future. Please visit my website learntestcode.com. Please remember to subscribe my channel, hit notification bell, and give me likes. I'm Test Automation Expert.